We are live.
We are live.
We are live.
Did I say welcome to the main event?
Run that thing right now, are you mad?
Oh man.
Behave before you talk about what I'm talking about, yeah?
Disclaimer! Run that thing back. Nah, man, stay there in your corner, man. Run that thing back, fam. I don't want to hear nothing from you.
We are live, as I'm saying, Mr. Blitztech,
Revenue GS.
J1 further the Southerners.
and welcome to today's episode of She-Hulk, Season 1, Episode 2, where it's all mad, and if you want to be mad with us, you know what you should be doing, subscribing to the channel, commenting down below what you think of this episode, what you think of She-Hulk, and head over now to our patreon.com/the where you can just watch it with us and enjoy the episode. Because, Episode 2, what you guys want to...
Was it mad though?
What?
This episode?
All the episodes are mad. Everything's mad. For me, it's like... Unless it's either mad or just dull, either way.
Either it's mad or dull.
Yeah, it's like... For me, there's no grey areas.
Wow.
I'm
God
joking.
damn.
I'm grey.
No man, definitely enjoyed this episode more than the first one for sure. Yeah, but there's some madness in there, but
Yeah.
I feel like that's just the nature of this show and the
Okay.
comics of it. So I've accepted it. I'm alright with it. And it was calm episode, like a half hour as well. Like it's kind of quick.
Explains why they probably got more episodes in this season as well. I heard they got like, is it 8 or 9? Which I think is actually pretty good. They can flesh out what's going on, because I'm liking the direction they're going with this with She-Hulk. She doesn't want to be She-Hulk, but she's been put in situations where like, yeah, we want you to be She-Hulk. She has the options to say no, but she's gone along with it. So
She doesn't want to not be She-Hulk. She's fine being She-Hulk.
I mean, I'm just getting what.
That's what I'm bro.
I mean, she goes to a bar. She's, I don't want to be She-Hulk. They're
then
cheering
she
your
turns-
name.
so
Then
that-
she
so
turns.
that-
So
To me, that says that she wants to be She-Hulk.
right, but then she keeps
You're saying she's being pressured into all of these situations.
a little bit, but she could always say no.
Bruv, I don't see pressure. I see people posing, asking her to do stuff.
And she
her
never says
saying
no.
yes. That's where.
Then why
if-
fight to begin with?
No, I'm just asking. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think it's a narrative issue
Okay.
and a writing issue, as
Okay.
opposed to
Okay, yeah, I
like
think
if
so.
I ask you something, I'm not putting pressure on you. I'm just asking you for something.
Yeah.
You have the option to say yes or no, and she says yes every time.
Uh-huh.
I don't see it like no one's badgering her. Like the guy who came and asked her for the job, he was like, "Oh, do you want a job?" She said yes
Yeah.
before he finished the job description. Another time in the courtroom,
Yeah.
she's like, "Yo, do your thing." Turn into her. She's like, "Really? Now? Oh, okay." Boom. And like, she's not getting pressured at all by anyone for anything.
That I understand is no pressure, but she's always meeting it with resistance.
Yeah, that's because
And that's where I'm getting it from
That's
for
because
her.
no, I hear you,
Yeah.
but I think that's because the people writing it are trying to push a narrative that doesn't make sense. Like in the first bit, she's like, "Oh, Bruce was wrong, I was right," and then it shows definitively that that's not what happened.
Right.
And I feel like that's what's going on over and over again in the show.
Yeah.
But I'm cool with it because like I'm taking this show as seriously as they're taking it, which is not very seriously at all. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I thought like this episode was definitely better than the first episode, but it just made me think they should have dropped both of them together. Because I think
Okay.
if they dropped both of these episodes together, like they've been doing with some of the other Disney Plus, it would have just flowed better. Do you know what I'm saying? We would have known by the end of this we're dealing with Abomination. Do you know what I'm saying? You would have set up like you're setting up the Hulk family dynamic better, and we would have met her family, or you know what I'm saying, like that. Those two episodes rolled into one, or two parts dropped at the same time. I felt like would have just played out better. Not that I've seen any negative responses to the show anyway. Do you get what I'm saying? But you know these shows are a bit propaganda-full and sticky, so get me. The internet might be going the other way on it.
That's where for me the writing issues there is where it's like angry at men, or men are doing this,
Men
or
hating
Those
men are
little-
all men are. Well, do you know what? Yeah, let me not even get onto it because they haven't really disgraced any. In fact, the black guy doing the interview questionable, but other than that, they've only really been shitting on white men. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
they're making a heavy push for that.
Okay.
Like, even in this episode, when she goes up into the courtroom, like she looks into the room of bare old white men at the desk, like so. I see you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
what they're doing here, innit?
And she says they don't have to do what I do to get where I am, but it's like, but you're using what you're doing to get where you are.
But, honey,
so it's
you
kind
accepted
of
the
weird.
job.
Yeah,
You accepted
so
the job.
She says, "Oh, they only wanted me to be in the building because I'm She-Hulk."
100%.
So they say in the real world, they say, "I'm only here because I'm pretty." All right, fine, but you still went along with it.
See, the thing is, yeah, let's scale it back from even being pretty. If you go and get someone and you're like, "Oh, I want I want Mr. Blitztech for this job.
Because he's black.
No, because you're Mr. Blitztech.
Oh,
bro.
okay,
That
fine.
being black is part of that.
Yeah,
It is
okay.
that you're just Sam. You're Mr. Blitztech,
Yeah.
bro. You're not this. You're not. You're Mr. Blitztech.
Just be that
If
guy.
they want you, they want you.
And I'm fighting. I'm like,
Why do you want me?
Blitztech?
Why do you want? Shut up, bro.
You want this
If you
guy
don't
with
want
the
a-
hand signals? Are you
Exactly.
dumb?
If you don't want a job, just say no, innit? Like, you get me? Like,
I'll be
no one-
deliberating.
How can I sit here and be sympathetic for you for having a well-paid job that was offered to you and you accepted?
Bruh, see,
Where's the sympathy?
I was discussing with you guys. You probably say the same. It's like,
Where's the sympathy?
even things did it as well. It's like, oh yeah, you got the job. It's like, oh, they want me to be She-Hulk because and this and that. It's like, well, you took the job. Like you're already talking to me,
Bruv.
but you know you've taken the job. Bruce already knows it, which is hilarious. It's like we know.
You know what's so mad, yeah? Like, just before we got into, like, this whole madness with the job, I was already screaming, yo, start your own law firm. Because you could you could feel and see where this was going.
Yeah.
And then it just becomes what it becomes. You know what I'm saying? But, like, yeah, we're living in mad times.
We are,
mad
man.
times,
We
I tell
are.
ya.
Because they all say stereotypes and stuff, but it's funny because I feel like it kind of plays on the stereotypes, fine, but the stereotypes are kind of like you're only playing yourselves. Because I like the whole ending scene credits where now she's doing stuff around the house because she's got the strength to do
yeah,
so.
yeah.
But it's like if men didn't have the strength to do this, so someone else is going to do it. Only because she's She-Hulk and she's got the strength, you can't complain. You know what I'm saying? It's so weird how you're saying, oh, only because you're strong enough now, we're going to make you do it. But it's like, if there was a fighter or a weightlifter who's also female, we're going to ask her the same thing.
Yeah, fam, you're the strong one, innit?
Thank
That's how
you.
it works.
Even
Like,
the guy said,
strength.
oh, I could have done that, but you asked her.
That's why the men usually do the stuff, right? Because you're the strongest. Like, you're not going to go to get the weakest person to do the heavy lifting.
That's it.
Makes no sense.
So for the stuff
But we
for
are
me,
where we are already.
I laugh at them for that fact. It's like you can't complain. You actually can't complain. It's so
Yeah.
funny.
It's funny because like we're living in a timeline where it's like
Everyone's equal.
everyone's like we're just trying to find.
No, we ain't living in that
With-
timeline.
This is
No, we ain't.
No, we ain't.
No, we're not living in that timeline at all.
Someone's fighting it.
What?
Exactly.
There's no-
Someone's fighting the fact that we're all equal.
Who's fighting the fact that we're all equal?
There's a group out there called feminism, extreme feminism, that they're fighting this.
That we're all equal.
We're all equal. We should all get paid the same. We should all get the job because we're all the same.
I don't agree with none of that.
Okay. I agree.
And
Let's
if I
show-
need a disclaimer, I'll put a disclaimer because my views are all my own. But I don't think I think if you're doing equal jobs, you should get equal pay. But if you're not, then you shouldn't. And that's got nothing to do with gender or anything. It's just the job.
and that's what I was
You get,
trying
like,
to get
that's
to.
just that's just yeah.
And
Now
that's-
the fact that there are people doing the same job that don't get paid the same, that's an issue.
Right.
Address that issue.
Right.
Don't address the issue of we all need to get paid the same, because we don't all need to get paid the same. People need to get paid depending on what they're doing, and do you know what I'm saying, and all of that.
All of that.
But people doing the same job should be getting paid the same. You get me? Like so.
Yeah. So
I'm not getting because of the tone of this show, I don't want to get into all of this deep social
understand.
narrative. And I understand what you're saying, like they try to throw that social narrative in your face so much, but like I said, you man, like they make it a joke. Like the guy in the bar who's like, oh, there's a pretty girl over there, I'm gonna go talk to it.
it's oh my god.
Like, I'm not gonna say there's not man them that don't talk about women like that. But at the same time, it's like when they put it in the show and make it a joke, I'm not gonna then take it seriously.
Yeah.
Do you get me? So that's just my take on it.
It's like they're trying to address something, and because this comes from a comic book, and you know how comic books go with social issues and stuff like that. And the issue is like you want to portray that, you want to stick to that, but then you want to make light of it so it's not so serious when it's a serious issue, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like only certain people gonna fully understand that. You know what I'm saying? But it's
funny because it kind of goes. Obviously, the show is obviously more of a comedy, and it's funny because sometimes it does work, and then it's almost like there's times where they're trying to be, especially when she's breaking the fourth wall. It seems like she's trying to be serious about it because it's only in her own head. Then it's not so serious because it's almost like when her and Bruce are having the conversation about the job, this and that. He's like, I already know you're taking a job. That's funny because she just keeps talking over man.
Yeah, like
regardless of the facts.
right.
And we've been saying, like, you're taking a job because you know you want to, but you can't always say no. So it's almost like she's convincing herself. We know she's trying to convince herself.
Right.
But it's like, that joke, for me, like, landed. But when you're like in your head, it's like, these guys don't have to do anything, I have to do this. And she's then being serious because it's her own faults. And she's talking to the audience. I'm like, then you're like, it's too much.
And bear in mind, she actually literally did nothing to get that job. I just want to actually point that out.
Besides turning green.
Well, she got the powers. You know, she didn't want the powers and got the powers. Then she got offered a job and she took it and she showed up to work.
Yeah.
Like, that's all that happened. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he did preface it with, you won the case,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
she didn't win the case, did she? It was a mistrial. So it's one of those ones.
So funny, man. But I'm still liking the fact of like her not wanting to be stuff, but it's happening for you anyway because you are now said person. It's funny how she was She-Hulk in the courtroom. Everyone was like, "No, we don't want you. This ain't gonna happen. We don't want some kind of mascot." Now this job's landing for her, and now I want to see how.
She navigates around.
The whole
same.
jailbreak thing.
Yeah.
Her now, basically, her responsibility of being She-Hulk, and you're gonna have to act on that or not act on it because she's still fighting it. So I definitely want to see how that plays out.
I think this is what makes it interesting because the same way I was shouting, "Yo, start your own law firm," but then I feel like this might be even more interesting because of the situation that she's put in, which is to work in this building with all these old white men. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think that'll kind of like make things a bit more interesting depending on how they take on the show.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But then taking on the Abomination, I thought that the whole thing was pretty cool. I really liked that. The fact that you're going like, firstly, she's got preconceived things about it because obviously he tried to kill her cousin without fully understanding the history behind it until she meets my man, and he breaks it down to that to her, which is super legit. And we said this last week. I can't remember if it was on this show, but like I think it was on Sandman or something, where they're now taking on more side of the villains, us hearing their side of the story. Like stuff like that is super good for us to start seeing now. Do you know what I'm saying? Or the whole super soldier serum. I was highly decorated soldier. Like all of these things, like, oh, you're not such a bad guy after all. You was just doing the government's deed. So, and most of the time it comes down to, yo, is the government like, do you know what I'm saying? It's even, what was it, Superman, when Superman fights Batman, and Superman's working for the White House, and Bruce has beef with him because of that. Like, stuff like that, I love seeing stuff like that. Because like, now you get to see where this whole thing stems from.
What'd you say? Tony was working with the government as well? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
On the Sokovia Accords, it's mad still.
It gets
It's
like
mad.
that.
It's mad.
It gets
It's
like
mad.
that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but it's when
It's mad.
It's
Tony
like-
and Ross were walking around together, weren't they?
Buddy, yeah.
Mad.
Yeah.
Rubbing
Mad.
shoulders and that.
Mad.
so-
The first, I would say the second MCU villain, Ross, after Ironmonger. The second movie. That guy.
Yeah.
Tony Stark and him were teamed up and they put Avengers in the raft. My bad.
was that
R.I.P. Tony. My bad. R.I.P. I shouldn't talk ill of the dead. Still,
you should what?
I shouldn't talk ill of the dead. Do you get me? So yeah.
It's
And
alright,
we've got
man.
a bigger fish to fry with Stephen Strange now. So, it's mad.
Oh, yeah, man. I just love it. So, yeah, it's a good episode, man. I definitely just want to see more. Definitely had to see he just takes on the situations. And Hulk just busting case now.
Good. I'm glad he's out. No, I'm glad bro, you don't need to be here for the whole season. Fam.
Oh,
like,
okay.
even seeing him in this episode, it was good because it made sense, but it also made sense to get him out of there. And my only question is, Abomination, are you man believing Abomination's coming back?
I think, again, it's a whole government thing. I feel like this building is set up so they have a ploy to have heroes and villains fight again. I feel like he's been set up.
No, I'm with you, but do you think Abomination's going to be back in this season?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
1000%.
He's been
'Cause that's the
running
first job.
wild. And hopefully,
it's the first job.
You
So he
said
has to.
he's gone.
Yeah, but then
he's definitely they're going to catch up to him again.
doesn't Wong pushes him back through the thing, doesn't he?
Will they have a fight?
When they
And
fight,
I don't know.
He pushes him back.
Back into that room.
So I guess she has to go through all this ordeal because she's the one appointing attorney to him, and then at the end he gets through the portal again and it's back to where it was.
I mean, if they showed the fight, that means the next day he should be in there already. So she should just go back to the cell. Because they showed the fight on the
yeah,
news.
but I guess the next episode would be like the hours in between that he's there, whatever.
They showed the fight.
Already. Oh, yeah, they did. On TV, yeah.
They showed the fight. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. So either in the next episode she's going back and he's back in prison, or he's not coming back. Do you know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
But
see what you're saying.
I do think his inclusion in it was good. It was an interesting take, even though I would like She-Hulk to have her own villain instead of just passing her on. Like, they're in the episode, you can't be in an episode degrading that your name is a derivative of the Hulk, and then in the same episode you present the Hulk's original villain as her whatever. What she's gonna
First
deal
client.
with. Yeah, bruv. Like, no. To be in a client, but I'm just saying, if it goes down and she has to then take him on, what are you man doing? That don't make sense.
Oh, no, man. Oh, no. Don't
But
do
she
that.
can't have She-Hulk and Abomination in the series and not have them fight.
Why?
Why not?
Who else is she gonna fight? There's no one else in the MCU she can fight besides Hulk, and they did that episode 1.
Oh, man. Like, oh, I
She
didn't.
destroyed Tatiana or whatever her name
exactly.
was.
This, bruv, where else are we going? The influencer
man.
chick she fought in the courtroom.
Oh, man. Let's not do that. I wasn't even... Because you know what, yeah? I'm so plugged into this whole attorney, client kind of thing. It was out of my mind who she's fighting. Because, you know, like... Much like all these laws to superheroes, I thought that's what they were. Do you know what I'm saying? That's where,
you thought this season was gonna end with a loss, with a case in court, just them arguing.
No, bro. Like just for this episode, that's what my mind. I didn't even think about fighting or nothing. Not one
Bruh.
time it occurred to me like, oh, she's gonna end up fighting. To me, it was just like, oh, we're here and we're addressing this superhero issue like with laws and stuff like that. That's just where I was. Like I did not think for a second like we're gonna fight the next episode.
I'm not saying the next episode, but she's gonna like if he's in this whole season and they don't fight.
I mean, it's a superhero. show
Exactly,
for
though,
starters.
it will make no sense. It'd be crazy. But we'll see.
We'll see where they get to take to.
Yeah, man, but guys, we've enjoyed this episode. Super lit. We just want to see more, see what happened with Abomination. Probably want to see more Bruce. We want to see more She-Hulk. I just want to say, why they, even when they don't like, why does no one like their name? It's mad, apart from Hulk. Hulk likes his name.
Who else doesn't like their names?
I don't know, you always see it somewhere. It's like, oh yeah, it used to be called this. It's like, I don't, where do you get that from?
Do you know what I think it is? I think that they always, like today in 2022, they're always like, oh, these names are corny. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I don't think the names are the names are just the names.
Oh, they would have changed them.
They wouldn't have, like, you ain't
You
changing,
can't-
you
yeah, you
ain't
can't.
changing Superman.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm
exactly.
saying? Like, so
In fact, yeah, he embraced this. Or in fact, he tried to say it's Hulk, but he never stopped people saying, oh, Superman. It's so weird.
Bruv, you are.
It's mad. Like, just stop it.
It's calm, man.
Just stop. It's
calm.
In movies as well, not just She-Hulk. I mean, everywhere. I hear it every time I see it. It's crazy. But guys, let us know in the comments down below what you think of this episode. Go over to our patreon.com/thecybernet if you want to see this reaction with us. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. I'm Sam, Mr. Blitztech.
Where the GS?
J1 for the Cybernerds.
Peace.